Hey, beautiful, welcome back. This is part two of my Leaving Quietly series, a four-part guide for women who want to let go of toxic relationships without blowing up their whole life. I'm T, your divorce advocate and founder of the Women Leaving Their Crappy Husbands and Creating Healthy Families private community. Today, we're talking about the hidden truth so many women carry in silence. What happens when the man everyone thinks is amazing is slowly ruining you behind closed doors? So let's tell the truth. You remember that one time that he grabbed you too hard, screamed in your face, or slammed something frighteningly and loudly near you? You brushed it off. You told yourself it only happened once. And maybe it did, maybe. But what about the other ways he makes you feel small, scared, unsafe? Like when he puts you in situations where he knows you'll be uncomfortable or scared, just so he can laugh at your reaction and call it silly. I know a woman who's terrified of clowns, not just nervous, terrified. And one night, she and her husband took their two young sons out to dinner. It was kids' night, so there was a clown doing balloons and magic tricks. She asked to sit away from the clown. He knew she was scared, but her husband ignored her and purposely requested a table right in that section. She started crying, visibly upset and uncomfortable. And instead of being kind, compassionate, and loving, he laughed and said, "Oh, you're seriously scared of that? It's just a clown." He demeaned her and made fun of her in front of the kids. Then he got mad at her for ruining their night because she cried at the table. He told the kids, "Mommy doesn't want y'all to have fun tonight." So now the kids are upset with her. And you could just imagine how they're learning how to treat their mom and other women later on. And she's just sitting there crying, even more ashamed and anxious, hurt and alone, all because he chose ego and control over empathy. And that kind of behavior, that's not harmless. That's emotional cruelty wrapped in a joke. He doesn't need to hit you often to hurt you daily. And just because he's polite to your friends or charming at church doesn't mean he treats you with love behind closed doors. And this is exactly what I mean by good men who ruin you quietly. He doesn't need to scream or cheat or hit you every day. His power is in being just likable enough to make you look crazy for complaining. Here are three truths that shift everything. Just because he's not dangerous all the time doesn't mean you're safe. If you're always flinching, bracing, shrinking, or not speaking your truth, that's not safety. That's survival mode. And survival isn't love. It's fear dressed up in loyalty. You need to know you don't need to wait for it to get worse to start wanting better. Okay? That was number one. Here's number two. Public performance means nothing if you're suffering in silence. People think he's a great guy. He's helpful, funny, shows up to events, smiles in pictures. But when you needed help with the kids, your emotions, your safety, your dreams, or anything else, he dismissed you. He left you alone with a mess and made you feel crazy for being upset. That's not just inconsiderate, that's manipulative. Please understand. A man who protects his image, but not your peace and well being, is not a good man. Number three, if you have to downplay your pain to stay, it's already too painful to be there. Maybe you're telling yourself, "Oh, he's not that bad. It could be worse. Well, at least he doesn't cheat." And even he says, "At least I come home every night." But honestly, sometimes you wish he wouldn't. Beautiful. You are not here to survive scraps of kindness. You are allowed to want more than just not being hurt. You deserve to feel safe, cherished, and emotionally free. The truth is, if staying requires you to lie to yourself, it's already unsafe. So, friend, if you're miserable but feel guilty about even thinking of leaving because he's not abusive, I want you to hear me clearly. The abuse doesn't have to be obvious. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to leave bruises. If it leaves you questioning your safety, your sanity, and your worth, that's enough. And you don't have to keep carrying that truth by yourself. This was part two of my Leaving Quietly series. And part three, we'll talk about emotional detachment, how to start pulling away from a man you may still love or feel responsible for. But if this episode cracked something open for you, I want you to know there's a space for you. I created a private group called Women Leaving Their Crappy Husbands and Creating Healthy Families. It's something I wish I had when I was going through it with my ex-husband, and people tried to convince me to stay and pray. And as of now, it's brand new, and you'd be one of the first inside of this exclusive community. Inside, we're building something powerful with clarity, courage, safety, support, and no shame. If you're tired of doing this alone, tap the link in the description and come join us. Let's stop surviving and start creating the life you actually deserve. And if you missed part 1 of this series, where you can find out if he's really the problem or if it's you, you could check it out here. You don't have to prove your loyalty to your suffering. Take care of you.